in your respective countries. I repeat, we are having trouble getting the discussants online. So what we will do is go ahead and discuss the questions that we have prepared for the discussants and present them to the audience. And each one of you will give us a brief overview of the situation in your respective country vis-a-vis the current pandemic situation. So the first question that we have prepared for the discussants relates to online learning and teachers training. So if you could give us some insights from your country as to how online learning and teacher training are taking place, that would be great. Please raise your hand if you would like to contribute and answer that specific question or topic. So the topic for discussion is online learning and teachers training. How are these being dealt with during the current situation in your respective countries? Anybody would like to speak to this issue? Please raise your hand.
Yes. Guys, would like to take the floor, like.
Yes, we have Amoni. Amoni is raising his hand. Can you go ahead, Amoni?
Okay, thank you very much. I think the point of departure here should be the kinds of infrastructures and structures that are available to enable people from different socioeconomic backgrounds to be able to access virtual learning. I am currently in Sweden, but I come from Uganda, and I quite follow closely how teaching is happening at the moment. One could say school-based teaching is really happening not quite well, and the notion of learning is, I think, headed in a direction of being rethought beyond the academics, and I'm quite an advocate of that, of rethinking the academics as the sole kind of learning. Well, maybe sole is an overrating, but I think what is being done now is to kind of contrast lessons that children can get from home and how teachers might play in that, and what the children might have gotten at school and how teachers traditionally do that. So for the socioeconomically affluent, they have kind of access to online platforms. They have kind of access to schools, information that is sent by schools, and the government also provided some materials for people to download. It came at the point where we had got a new curriculum and we have prototypes for new curricula. So I guess those that are able to access digital devices and platforms are able to do that. But those that are not, there are those who have access to the television, and there is some television teaching that happens. And another layer is those that can only learn on radio, because I guess that's more wider spread. So in a nutshell, there is quite a layer of, there are quite some layers of how accessible virtual learning can happen. And that's it. I think the current situation is bringing to the fore the different layers of society in terms of access and quality of education. Yeah, that's basically what I can say.
All right, thank you, Amoni, speaking from Sweden, but originally from Uganda. And you talked to us about the current situation in Uganda. Thank you. I see Ali. Ali is one of the discussants and he's raising his hand. Yes, Ali, please go ahead. The floor is yours. Yes, Ali, the floor is yours. Please go ahead.
Like he's not getting us.
Yeah, it seems like he has a problem with his audio, maybe. So the question, the topic for discussion is still open, which relates to online learning and teachers training. How are these taking place during the current situation in your respective country? And we welcome contributions from the audience that we have now.
May I provide some contribution?
Yes, sure, Caetano.
Can you hear me, please?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Can you please mention your name and your country?
Correct. My name is Caetano Capitão. I'm from Angola and representing ANELTA. I'm the president of ANELTA, Angolan English Language Teachers Association. Well, my contribution to this question would be mainly on, let's say, two fronts. One is related to the fact that it is actually a very good opportunity for all of us to interact, share our experiences, considering the current context, and for sure, learn from each other. Now, there are some challenges related to our, let's say, specific contexts, which most of the teachers are somehow restricted on accessing the internet and the other sort of platforms which can connect us and put us in touch for the webinars and other sort of learning, or distance learning, I mean. Particularly in Angola, we also have a sort of constraint related to the mindset. I don't know whether this is the same in your countries. I think we need to work a little bit on with our colleagues in order to, let's say, create a sort of awareness on the advantages of accessing different platforms, electronic platforms, related to English language teaching itself and learning the language. Teachers, colleagues, participants. Some of them, for sure, have restriction on accessing the internet due to their locations and so on. and also the price of internet, airtime, is somehow a challenge. But the majority tends not to access or let's say feel a sort of motivation to participate in this kind of solutions. So I would say that there is a sort of mindset which we still have to work out and bring more to their awareness about the advantages of accessing this tool. So this is a process, and I'd like to listen from other colleagues whether this type of challenge related to the mindset is the same in your contexts. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Kaite. Yes, I can see Ali. Ali.
I think Ali still has trouble with audio, but he wrote in the chat box, distance learning in Guinea-Bissau, Ali is from Guinea-Bissau, is not possible because the internet connection is so weak and expensive, and the majority of students don't have smartphones. And he also mentioned other challenges, such as teachers have a big role to play because they are everywhere in the countryside and in remote areas. Sometimes they don't have enough information about the disease, and some don't believe in COVID-19. Many of them are reliant on religious issues and local tradition. So we need to get the correct information to them to share, for example, so they don't share fake news. So this is contribution of Ali from Guinea-Bissau. Is one of the discussants, but unfortunately, he has problems with audio. So we are still on the topic of online learning and teacher training. We talked about online learning. Maybe we can switch to teacher training. Is there any teacher training happening in your respective countries during this current situation? If yes, what is the nature of that training?
Well, can I take the floor?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Flavien from Benin Republic. And our experience here is basically at university level. Concerning secondary and primary schools, there is no training. Students just resume like that and continue with the old practice. But at university, since Monday, lecturers are receiving some training in how to use Zoom, how to interact with the students, and even we have started some online teaching since Monday, but we are meeting those problems like connection. We don't have, as Ali said earlier, mobile phones, and the solution of the government is to provide free connections, but so far there is no such a thing. We are still waiting, and we hope that in the coming weeks things will be better. So basically, this is what I can say concerning the online teaching and the training. Only lecturers at universities here have been trained by some experts sent by the government. And but there are still many issues to tackle, and hopefully, I think this will be a success. So, in a nutshell, this is what I can say. This is what is happening in Benin Republic. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Flavian. Any other contribution from the audience regarding teacher training? I know that many places provide teacher training online, and one of these places is teacher associations. And I have seen many teacher associations from the continent providing professional development opportunities for their members and teachers. So if anyone would like to speak about an experience of your teacher association in providing online teacher training opportunities, that would be great. Yes, Hoffen is raising his hand. Hoffen, yes, you may take the.
Good evening. I represent a teacher association in South Africa called NAETSA, the National Association for English Teachers in South Africa. And we had a meeting on Friday with the British Council. Obviously, it was a virtual meeting to discuss working relations, because our association is quite new, so we are still in the building phases. How the NEC will work with the provincial executives and downwards. That's basically what we discussed, and how we are going to develop the association such that teachers are groomed up to grassroots level. Basically, that is what happened on Friday. And universities are teaching here online. The challenge would be our schools from poorer communities. Those schools from, let's say, communities that can afford, basically sending material to learners while they are at home via WhatsApp and other social media platforms. More or less, that's what's happening in our country. But probably schools will reopen in a few weeks to come. That's what the government is working on. Thank you.
Thank you, Hoffen, for the insights. Anybody else would like to share with us their experience or their teacher association's experience in providing teacher training online? Amoni, yes? I see you raising your hand again. Yes, go ahead, Amoni, and talk to us about the context in Uganda.
Yeah, when I was starting earlier on, I was hinting on structures and infrastructures, and I didn't quite finish that discussion, and it kind of spills over to the opportunities and possibilities of teacher training that can happen at the moment. From a Ugandan context, and I guess this is not peculiar to Uganda, even teachers themselves, very few have access to digital devices and platforms, or even if one has a smartphone, they have very limited access to electricity. They have limited access to the resources that get them online, especially. I guess many people would have liked to join in here, and the nature of how we are having already technology challenges right here in this meeting is testimony to that. But also it has some connotation of how we think about technology as teachers first, but also how we implement that in our schooling systems. Where I come from, students are not allowed to use mobile phones, and teachers kind of, I mean, in some schools, as a teacher, you are expected not to go with a mobile phone to class because we consider it a distraction. Now, in the current context, we are straight away coming into a problem whereby we have built in disabling conditions for ourselves. The experience of my teacher association, UNELTA, Uganda National English Language Teachers Association, is that we have not been able to organize yet a successful webinar, because we normally have monthly ones. When we normally had monthly ones when we had physical meetings. But in the current context, where transport is disabled and all those other restrictions, we couldn't organize any physical one, and the virtual one is not good either, is not possible either, because many of us do not have access to the platforms that could help us do that. So one of the things that might help is to go beyond our focus on teaching English to bring ideas that feed straight into the structural orientation of our education systems. And maybe it might be helpful for us to deliberate a bit about how this can be a collective voice from TESOL, from Africa TESOL. Submit.
Thank you, Amoni. Yeah, certainly there are many challenges, and this relates to the mindset that Caetano talked about earlier. We are not positioned to be able to utilize and use all the platforms that are available. But I know there are some inroads that have been made with the little technology that we have in our context, and a lot needs to be done in this regard. All need to join efforts as organizations, as government agencies, so on and so forth, to improve the situation. So thank you for your contribution. I would like to invite, I see in the audience, Harry Kucha, President of IATEFL, and Deborah, past President of TESOL International. I would like to invite them to share with us sources from these parent organizations that can benefit teachers in Africa. What are the resources that are available through these associations that can help teachers in Africa to develop their selves and develop professionally? So I would like to invite Deborah Healy, President of TESOL, to give us some insights on available resources for teachers in Africa through TESOL International. Deborah, sorry to be so.
Okay. Well, I wasn't expecting to speak today, so, but TESOL International Association does have some free resources. We have a coronavirus resource page. Let me put the link into the chat so that you can see what that is. We're also doing some free webinars that are in the My TESOL Lounge. The My TESOL Lounge is an area that is open to anybody. You don't have to be a TESOL member to be part of the lounge. So let me bring up the link to that. If I Sorry, I didn't think I was going to speak, or I
Okay.
would have been more prepared here.
It's
But we do have some some discussions in the lounge that are going on. There's one this Thursday that'll talk about online teaching as a discussion. So it's not just somebody presenting about it. We've had a few other things going on as well related to free webinars and such. So if you do look at our, if you go to mytesol.org, okay, so if you go to mytesol.org, you can, if you're not a TESOL member, you get a free registration. You just register to use the site for free, and you have access to the My TESOL Lounge. So we will be doing something, like I said, this Thursday. We've got a few other things happening, and the TESOL website, tesol.org, we'll give you a few more ideas. But like I said, the coronavirus resources for teachers page is completely free and open to anyone. It's where teachers have been sharing their ideas. And it's from people all over the world. So some places have resources and some places don't have resources. And you would just sort of look through them to figure out which ones are most appropriate for your context. But I have to say, I've certainly been enjoying these Africa TESOL discussions and opportunities, seeing what you all are doing and the challenges facing you. It's certainly informed some of the discussions that we have had on the TESOL board. And so thank you for doing these discussions. I find them very helpful. I will pass it over to Harry.
All right, thank you very much, Deborah, and thank you for your support and attending these sessions. Thank you for the valuable resources you have also shared with us. Now we'll turn to Harry, President of IATEFL, to let us know about the resources that are available for teachers in Africa through his organization.
I wasn't expecting to have to say anything on behalf of IATEFL here. I guess that's partly or mostly because I am a member of, and a very active and proud member of Africa TESOL. And when I'm on this platform, it's my Africa TESOL hat that's on. So forgive me if it's proving a bit difficult for me to talk about the things that IATEFL is providing at the moment. I just wanted very quickly to point us to the following a couple of resources. The first one, which I have, hopefully I've done so, I don't know if I've posted that. The IATEFL website itself, as you know, very recently, IATEFL organized a 2-day online get-together, which was free for all, and we live streamed that on Facebook as well as on our Adobe platform, and that was attended by, on the Facebook page, we had 30,000 people from around the world following the 2 days of the online event, and that which addressed different topic areas. And the second day was specifically dedicated to teaching online. There are free resources which you can find on our webpage. I have just put that now. You'll find, if you get on that link, which I've provided now, there are lots of free resources for current, made available now by our 16 special interest groups addressing different areas of interest in ELT, but also building around teaching within the current situation. I don't know if that's been discussed already, but I want to point out my favorite publication of all times, which is a very recent global issues special interest group publication edited by Linda Roas. And this publication has about 21 articles written exclusively by African teachers about their experiences of teaching different aspects of global issues in the language classroom, and that is free, available online as well. I would post the link here, but I think that has been shared previously. I would post the link. I can't pull it out now, and I just wanted also to mention the long-standing opportunities that IETFL has offered to its associates, and particularly to associates from the global south, including Africa, to get membership at a very, very reduced rate. A few years ago, Cote d'Ivoire, for example, members from Sinelta, for example, were able to become IETFL members for as little as £1 or £2, which should be very little compared to what a full membership is. I think 62 or 64 pounds at the moment. So we try to encourage and becoming an associate. If you are a teacher association in Africa and you're not yet an associate of IETFL, think about that, because we do share lots of resources through the associates network, and these are often very free, and you can share that with your members. And becoming an associate is free of charge. So there are lots of different opportunities that are available if you look. And our sister organization TESOL is providing a fantastic range of resources as well. So it's great that we in Africa are able to tap from these two international organizations and to get resources without needing to pay for them as full members would do. And it's I think for me, it's up to us whether we take these opportunities or not. And if I were our affiliate, Africa TESOL affiliate leaders, I would be grabbing these opportunities and sharing them with colleagues, because another problem is, even when we get these opportunities, when we get these resources, how often do we share those with our colleagues? Because I've been to places where I knew they were an associate, but the members didn't even know what was happening. I think it's time for us, Africa TESOL affiliate leaders, to think about making these opportunities that are open to you freely available to all your members, so that together we can develop as Africa, but also as part of a global ELT community, and a thriving one.
Thank you very much, Harry, for the insights and reminding us of the resources that are available through IETFL, and a strong reminder to our affiliate leaders to make use of these resources and make them available to their members as much as possible. Thank you very much. I see Okon is raising his hand. Okon, you have
Yes. I want to bring Harry and Deborah back to the floor. This is a follow-up to what the Ugandan affiliate leader said in terms of the difficulties they experienced in Uganda, and how the affiliates can work with Africa TESOL, maybe to bring about changes or to influence policies. So that's why I want to bring Harry back and Deborah, so that we as a continental body can learn from IETFL and TESOL International on how we can influence policies in some countries or in many countries. I know TESOL does issue position statements, but how effective are these position statements? Or do we have links to maybe the administration? Or do we liaise directly with the ministry in collaboration with the local affiliates to see how we can bring about changes in policies? So this is why I want Deborah and Harry to come back again and maybe advise us as a body, because they're more experienced and we can learn from them as well.
Right. Can I have a start, Deborah?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
I want to start with something I'd forgotten to mention long ago in the Africa TESOL affiliates group, to say many congratulations to Anelta in Angola for winning this year's IETFL Project Awards. I don't know, I did hear Caetano speak. congratulations, Caetano, and your team for winning that award. And we're looking forward to seeing what you would do with the money that's made available to you for that project. Now, one of the things ITFL has tried to do with its associates over the last 5-6 years, I can't remember, 5 or 6 years, is supporting local initiative that has potential to influence policy through good practice. And this has been done through the ITFL Projects Award. So invite, every year we invite our associates to develop a project, a training project, or it could be a material development project. It could be any kind of project that is appropriate to the needs, the local needs of their teachers and the ELT community in their context. And they can be funded for up to £2,000 to develop that project. And there's also support from, where it's needed, ITFL provides expertise support where they need that. And the aim is to encourage some kind of bottom-up initiative where the association itself is developing their professionals and finding ways of developing practice within the context. And the hope is that they then end up with examples of good practice that they can then share with policymakers in their context. ITFL, as a UK charity, does not get involved directly with policy at local levels, but we do empower our associates to be able to do work to do work that shows good or best practice as a way of convincing local policymakers to support them, but also to help them develop their work. The other thing we've done is also partnering with the Hornby Trust and the British Council, who is our strategic partner, to support local initiatives. And I have spoken before about the Hornby Decentering Scheme initiative. And I think we discussed this a while ago, and maybe would be taking that forward. But the Hornby Decentering initiative actually, over the last year and this year and the next year, is focusing on teacher associations and the potential for teacher associations to develop best practice, evidence-based best practice, and there's a lot of support for doing that. So in the hope that they can also influence policy by good examples, because the point is we can't. I remember a few years back in Cameroon when the minister asked the Cameroon Teacher Association to say, okay, this is what I need. What would you give me and what is the evidence? And there was nothing and there was no evidence. We're all drawing from anecdotal experiences. So encouraging teacher associations to engage in some form of systematic projects that helps build an evidence base of best practice, which they then showcase to policymakers, is one of the things that ITFL and I think the Hornby Trust as well are happy to do. I can't say anything now for TESOL, but I was privileged to be part of the planning and organization of the TESOL Summit and the future of the English language profession. And a lot of that built, one of the main themes looked at teachers as change agents, and the centrality of that as well was teacher associations. So I think we need to take our teacher associations a bit more seriously and make them a bit more professional, less political, more professional, so that we can develop examples, concrete examples of things that work in our context, because those are the things that policymakers want to see. We can't keep complaining about things not working when we can't invest ourselves as an association in making things work and showcasing how best we can make things work if we need to be taken any seriously by policymakers.
Thank you.
So shall I speak now?
Yes, go ahead, Deborah.
It's always hard to follow Harry. He's such a great inspirational speaker. So I'll try to do my best here. You know, in TESOL, we have a number of affiliates in Africa, as many of you know. One of the people who's done some very interesting things is in the Rwanda affiliate, Richard Nyagabira there, in terms of developing advocacy efforts, working with their ministry and other government leaders. You know, I mean, TESOL is a bit different from IATEFL because we do have a piece of TESOL that does advocacy and lobbying and works actively. Our major efforts have been in the United States simply because we're closer to the government in the United States physically. But we are very interested in finding ways to assist outside the United States, in Africa, in Latin America, and Asia. And we have a website, I'll put that in the chat after I finish talking, where if you if you're a TESOL member, you can go on that Advocacy Action Center and post in the form the areas that you would like more information about. You would like to see TESOL doing something for within your country. I mean, right now we're all trying to deal with COVID and you know, finances and everything else, so I can't guarantee instant action on anything, but we are very interested in hearing about ways that TESOL could work with affiliates, with local teachers to help generate greater advocacy for themselves. And obviously, you know, where we are, we can't tell anybody else what to do in their own countries in any of our affiliates, but we do want to be a place where we can share information. And our TESOL affiliates are part of the affiliate network. And we have a professional council that works with the network and the affiliate peer advisory program as part of this, where we're using affiliates to help inform other affiliates. And this would be a great place to go to find information, to seek information. I've put my email in the chat. I'm happy to try to connect you to the people in the affiliate network professional council. This is a member and an associate, a TESOL affiliate benefit. So if you're a TESOL affiliate, you can take advantage of this. So I hope that those of you who are TESOL affiliates will tell us what else we can do to help, and we'll help, you know, but definitely what we can do is connect you to other people who have similar issues and are coming up with creative ways to deal with them. A large part of it is networking, is knowing people and working on people. And like Harry said, I mean, you have to have answers, you have to have your own work that you're doing that helps prepare you to talk to the, you know, the people with the power to make change. I was at the summit, like Harry, the summit on the future of the TESOL profession. And what I noticed there was at the tables that had Ministry of Education officials, much more change was possible because they went back home thinking, oh, there's something we can do. And I think this is what we want to see on a global basis, where affiliates are able to say, here are the people that we talked to and here's what happened, and share that information with each other. As you know, every country is different, every place is different, and everyone will have a different path. But I'm certainly happy to be of whatever assistance I can be in making connections for you with the people that might be able to help you. But you guys are doing such wonderful work. I love what Africa TESOL is doing, and I really enjoy hearing about what all of you are doing here in this very difficult time.
All right, thank you very much, Deborah, for your insights. Thank you also for your kind words about Africa TESOL. We are a nascent organization and we are trying to thrive and provide professional development opportunities for our members and teachers in Africa. So Ali is one of the main discussants, but unfortunately we can't hear him. I know that Linda Ross is doing work with Ali in Guinea-Bissau, and I would like to invite Linda Ross, a great friend of Africa TESOL, and also heavily involved with global issues, a special interest group of IATEFL. So please, Linda, if you don't mind, tell us about the work that you have been doing in Guinea-Bissau regarding online learning and teacher training.
Hello. Because the situation is, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear.
Great. Okay, good. Yeah, good.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Great. I didn't know I was going to speak either, so I've been, I didn't have anything prepared. What we've been doing in the WhatsApp group in Guinea-Bissau with ELTA GB is getting everyone to write some very simple materials about local issues. And we've been having lots of discussions about these local issues that are important to teachers and the communities. And we thought we'd write some materials for teachers for when they go back to school, when the school's open. They don't have any materials in Guinea-Bissau. All the materials they print off, they have to pay themselves for the photocopies. So we have just organized some money from IATEFL Global Issues SIG to send for photocopies. We've put 6 very short texts with questions on 2 double sides of 1 piece of paper to fold up into a little booklet, and 1 for each grade in the school. And this is going to be the simple materials for the students when they go back to school after the lockdown. So we've done with very few resources. We've been doing this on the WhatsApp group, involving as many teachers as possible, and giving the teachers, making the teachers feel a little bit more empowered about the sort of topics they can teach and creating their own materials. That's all I have to say. That's what we've been doing.
Thank you very much, Linda. And
Thank you.
Apologies for putting you on the spot, but
that's okay. It's very nice to be to feel part of Africa TESOL, and great discussions. Well done.
Thank you very much. And you are an important part of Africa TESOL, important partners, global issues, SIG of IATEFL. We have a few minutes left, and I would like to open it to the audience to share with us final thoughts about the topic of online learning and teacher training. So the floor is open. If you have any final thoughts or contributions you would like to share with us, that would be great. And I see a couple of affiliate leaders. I see Abdullah Conte and I see Isa Batara. So if you would like to share with us what your association is currently doing to support teachers during this difficult time, that would be great. Yes, Isa, go ahead. The floor is yours.
Yes, good evening, everybody. My name is Isa Watara. I'm the current chairman of BETA, Burkina Faso English Teachers Association. Let's say that our association has been really working to find, partners, because we have a WhatsApp group in which we post everything we are doing. And then we've managed to find some presenters from overseas, from the United States. And so we had about 3 main important training via what do you call it, Zoom. I think it was really interesting, but the problem we are facing is that our members are not used to social, to working on social media or, working with technologies. This is the main problem here. And yes, and I also think that thanks because of the rate, because of the flow of the internet, it's really difficult to to have many people to participate, because we noticed that we have about 250 members on the WhatsApp group, but when we have trainings, we cannot have maybe 10 or 15 showing up. This is a real problem here, and I think we are still trying to to have everybody join in the activities we are doing. I'm done, I think.
Thank you very much, Isa from Burkina Faso. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okon, I see you are.
Okon would like to say something.
Yes, please. Just to follow up on the support structure that we heard from TESOL and TESOL International. The Africa TESOL board, I mean, as the president said earlier to the affiliate leaders, we are willing to lend our platform to the different affiliates whenever they do have events that may run for more than 30 minutes if they cannot support it with the free Zoom. That they can use our platform to run their local events, which is fine by us. And again, when we have an international event or something with an international flavor, that might whip interest among the members. Just like the last speaker said, that when there's an event, only 10 out of 250 will show up. But if you do use maybe Africa TESOL platform, that might make it feel like it's got an international flavor, and maybe more of the local members may want to participate. I mean, barring all the technical difficulties and cost of hosting it. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Okon. Point.
Can I just say that's very good to hear what Okon just said, because the last week or so, and was it as late as Sunday, I followed a webinar organized by colleagues in the Guinea English Teachers Club. And because they were using free Zoom, they had to stop at the end and then send another link and then continue. So I think it's really good. And it was a fantastic webinar by one of our colleagues there, Kali, on action research for teacher development. And I thought that was a webinar that could have benefited from being put on a platform like Africa TESOL and an international audience, and having people contribute to them. And I think our other colleagues would have benefited across Africa, would have benefited from ideas from a colleague like them working on an action research project in his classroom. So that's really good to know, and I think that's something that Africa TESOL should promote a lot with affiliate leaders and encourage them to use that platform, the Zoom platform. So thanks for that, Africa TESOL.
Yes, yeah, yes, Harry, welcome. Yes, our platform is available for affiliate leaders, and information is being communicated with them. They are more than welcome to use the platform whenever they have an event. Yeah, I think we should collaborate and promote each other's events and provide support as well. So thank you, Harry. Toyin Tijani.
Hello?
Yes. Toyin Tijani, you are muted.
Yes. Toyin Tijani from Lagos chapter of Elton, Nigeria. So I want to thank God because during this COVID-19, teachers were made to teach each other. We call it training the trainer. So we organize it on daily basis from Monday to Friday. So while the teacher that is teaching will be the teacher, the rest will be students. So we teach, and at the end of the day, there will be inputs and questions from the classes, from the students, and so by so doing, it's like refreshing ourselves, and that's what we have been doing. Although we use WhatsApp, not webinar or Zoom. We use WhatsApp, and it was interesting. So the teachers gain a lot. Even some principals in Lagos State also who were on the platform gain from it, and has been like that so far. Thank you.
Thank you, Toyin. Tijani from Elton, thank you for being here. Thank you for your input. Yes, WhatsApp is very popular in Africa, and it's been useful as well. Ali,
Okay.
I can hear from Ali. I think his audio problem is resolved now, maybe. Ali? You are muted, Ali. Ali is muted. Yes, I see Isa raising his hand. Yes, Isa, go ahead.
Yes, I really wanted to thank Okon for this Africa TESOL for the opportunity they are giving us to use their platform. But I don't actually know how to manage. How do we do that? Do we have to contact you inbox, or I don't know?
Yes, please contact us and then we will arrange it together.
Very good.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Flavian, I think this is the end of the session.
Yeah.
Do you have any final words?
Yeah, I have a final word. We have a webinar next week here on Monday, the 18th, and this will be led by Hen. It is on lifelong learning skills in the 21st century classroom. So you are all invited, and shortly I will send you the link so that you could also invite your association's members. Thank you.
Thank you, Flavian. Thank you, everyone, for attending. And we'll see you next week. As Flavian mentioned, we have a webinar. It will be provided by our secretary. Thank you all. Stay safe and have a good night.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Ayman.
Good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.